Welcome back, everyone, to the High Tempo Sports Podcast, episode 154. Today, we are back for another weekly episode. Here for weekly picks, here for our final top 10 position episode. Before we get any further, make sure you go check out our YouTube channel. We posted one of our High Tempo Fast Break videos this weekend. It was 2v2 NFL Trivia. Really fun video. You said you have another one planned,
I got
right?
the next one. We'll do the High Tempo Feud. It'll be like Family Feud.
Oh, that'll
but
be fun. When do you want to do that?
We can do it soon.
Okay.
Like we can do it like hella soon. Like either
we can do it like tomorrow or the next day or something.
either one of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
So that'll be coming next, the High Tempo Feud. So that sounds like a lot of fun.
It sounds like a fight might break out.
So wait, do we need like 10 people? Like do we need 5
we're
on
not
each
doing
side? Like
I was thinking, obviously I'm Steve Harvey.
right.
And I was thinking like you and either Barry Hill or Willie versus I think Paul and Ivan.
Yeah.
Would just
Paul
be
and
hilarious. Paul and Seth.
Yeah.
Paul and Ivan.
That'll work.
Yeah,
that
it'll be
sounds like a lot
so
of fun,
good.
yeah.
And there'll just be like 5. You guys go back and forth. If you get the
Oh,
top,
so like name the that's going to be sweet.
Name the top 5, blah,
Yeah.
blah, blah. If you get number 1, that's worth 5 points. You get number 5, it's worth 1.
Cool.
So I think it'll be a lot
That'll
of
be
fun.
super fun.
Yeah.
So yeah, look out for that. I guess we'll be doing that soon. But yeah, we're here today to talk about NFL, what happened in week 1, a little bit of college football, and then we're wrapping up our top 10 positions with centers today. So let's get some college football news actually out of the way first. J.J. McCarthy and Michigan played Hawaii this past weekend, and J.J. McCarthy looked flawless, played absolutely amazing. Michigan stomps on Hawaii, and J.J. has now won the starting spot.
Yeah, absolutely. He's got to start next week. Hopefully we can start putting the drama behind us. If you are a Michigan fan and you now hate Cade, why? You're like the loser Michigan fans. You're the ones that everybody has a problem with because you have no reason to hate Cade. Cade was the perfect quarterback for the University of Michigan last season. He won us a lot of big games, won us the Big Ten, and was very, very good. He lost a job. Don't boo the kid.
Yeah.
He's already down enough. You can tell by the way he acts.
It's very Cleveland Brown, Baker Mayfield.
Yeah, it's just like quit being assholes to him.
Yeah.
Like this is a real person. And
I
like,
just find
he
it
was
hilarious.
good.
Yeah, I mean, as a State fan, obviously, I
Yeah.
find it hilarious because it's like he literally was the first dude to beat Ohio State in so long, and now all of a sudden they hate the dude. It's
Yeah,
just like
I don't get the hate is the
Exactly.
issue. Like I get you think JJ should start over him.
Right.
So does everybody else. But why do you hate him now?
I
He
know.
still chose the
Yeah,
University of
exactly.
Michigan, still balled out for the university. It's not like he like torched us or anything or went and played for a different school, went to Michigan State or
Right.
something and dominated us. Like nothing.
And I
there
get-
should be no bad blood.
I get like being upset about how he is handling the quarterback situation. I understand that because he is handling it poorly. But still, he doesn't need to be booed. Like,
Yeah.
whether he's a starter or not, I think everyone agrees he shouldn't be. Doesn't mean that he needs to suck. What if J.J. McCarthy gets hurt and Cade's got to play again? Like
Yeah.
you're gonna have to root for him. What are you gonna do? Boo him then? Like,
Yeah, exactly.
So really interesting there. But they take on UConn this week, so just a loaded non-conference schedule for Michigan this year.
It kind of sucks because like I've been the one, and I think most people are one to complain about who Bama seems.
Oh
to
yeah,
play
the Big
at the start
Ten
of the year.
fans always complain about the SEC having
And-
horrible non-conference.
No, even Ohio State played Notre Dame.
Yeah,
And,
Ohio
like,
State usually has a pretty good
and
non-conference.
we played nobody, which kind of blows because like I have no idea what to expect.
Right.
When we actually play somebody, we haven't even been in a game where like we don't know in a game where we have to win and it's close. I don't know what our offense looks like. I
Right.
don't know who we
What
go
we
to.
go to, yeah.
I don't know any of that. So that's kind of nerve wracking.
Yeah.
It's just like the negatives of loading your schedule. Obviously, starting off 3-0 is great though.
Right, obviously, yeah, that's the benefit. And Michigan is a team that I get like you can hate on them, and I do think it's funny that they have like a horrible non-conference schedule, but like they usually have a good team they usually have a good non-conference game
Yep.
every year. This is the first time in a while actually that they haven't. Speaking of big non-conference games, Michigan State plays Washington this week at Washington. They are unranked. They are 2-0, but they are actually favored to win against Michigan State. They're like 2.5 or 3.5 point favorites, whatever site you look at, which is surprising because I know Michigan State Peyton Thorne didn't play great against Akron, but the defense was outstanding. We 52-0, I'm pretty sure. And I don't know. It's just kind of odd to me that Washington's favored. Like, what do they know? What does Vegas know that we don't? But
Isn't State ranked?
State's 11th in the country. Like
what?
exactly. Like I get it. Like I don't think State should be favored by a lot. Like I definitely don't. But for Washington to be favored to win is really, really interesting to me. Like I don't really see that right. Because State, like I said, the defense has looked really great. Obviously it's against two poor teams, but two MAC schools pretty much. But the offense, other than Peyton Thorne, has been really good. The run game has been phenomenal. We have threats outside. It's not that Peyton Thorne's been bad. He just has not had the start that you would like out of him.
Yeah, he wasn't the Peyton Thorne that we all saw last
Exactly,
year.
yeah.
When we were literally like, this guy might be the best throwing pocket passer QB in the Big Ten.
Yeah.
That's how good he was last year. He hasn't been that to start off.
Definitely
this year.
not. And hopefully he can bounce. He left the game early in a game against Akron, like only played the first half. It was a blowout already, but he got hurt, or he didn't get hurt. He got hit on a play, and just they decided to not play him the rest of the game, and our backups looked really good. So hopefully that motivates Peyton Thorne to get this dub against Washington, because it's a big game for us. Obviously, can't afford to lose these early season games. And it's just a good resume builder to win this game.
Yeah, not trying to make this a competition or anything, but what is your third string backup quarterback's last name?
I don't know.
It can't be as good as Orgy. It just can't.
I know
be.
we have Noah Kim as our backup, but I can't remember our third.
That's
string
kind of
guy.
fire.
Yeah, he was pretty. He played pretty good actually as a backup, but yeah, Michigan has like so many backups.
Doesn't Michigan State have? I was watching the Detroiter. Is that his name
yeah.
on TikTok? He was talking about that defensive player who was just laying the boomstick during the game against. Is it Alexander or something? Hill?
No, I know who you're talking about. I know what you're talking
Anyways,
about.
I know that dude. When I literally watched that game for not very long.
Yeah.
He had some massive hits. Like he blows.
I think it was
up
Brantley.
people.
I think it was
Yes.
Charles Brantley.
Yes, it was Brantley.
because he's having a really good start to the year
Yeah,
so far.
he is railing people, laying them out.
He's
It's
been
pretty
locking
awesome.
down on as outside too. So, other college football news: Notre Dame 0-2 lost to Marshall. Hilarious. Love to see Notre Dame lose.
Overrated every year. Again, prove it. Write it.
Exactly.
Stop ranking them high. They aren't good.
No. And Appalachian State gets a huge upset win over number 6 Texas A&M after barely losing their week 1 game to North Carolina. They're just loading up that schedule. And imagine if they would end up winning that game to be 2-0 right now with wins against UNC and Texas A&M. App State is legit. They're not the team that upset Michigan 15, 20 years ago. You know, like they're not the random school. Like I'm not just bringing that up.
No.
For real though, like they're not just this random school no one's heard of. Like they are a legit program. So that's really cool to see. I don't know who they play this week for their last non-conference game, but yeah, it's definitely really cool to see them win that type of game. The only other Bama Texas obviously was a pretty controversial game. The referees were kind of said they were favoring Bama or whatever with this missed safety call. But Bama ends up winning with a late second field goal to win the game. But it was a super entertaining game. Really fun.
Back to that App State game. You cannot watch an App State game without them mentioning that they beat
That's
Michigan.
so true.
And you might hear it, the announcer say the exact same line, that this is not that same team that beat Michigan in the big house. And and they'll do it 5 times.
Like I wonder if they did they beat Michigan?
They did in the big house.
I never knew.
Yeah, it's like the greatest upset in sports history. Apparently,
You're right though. Like at both, because I did tune into both of those games, both of their games so far.
Yeah, and they
got brought up at least once.
Yeah, like
when they beat especially when they beat them, it was like the biggest win for Appalachian State since Michigan. Like, dude, we get that they like.
I understand that we got beat that year. We lost to App State,
Exactly.
but they're not the same program they once were.
Yeah.
Okay, listen.
Lastly,
It was worse when we did it. Ours was worse.
Yeah, exactly.
They
Way
were
worse.
a worse football team.
much worse. Last college football thing, CMU this week lost to Southern Alabama. Disappointing game out of the Chippewas. I was there, didn't stay for long. Really hot, really hungry, really tired. So
Yeah, absolutely.
I left like in mid-second quarter.
Didn't have any hot dogs before the game or nothing?
I did have a hot dog before the game.
Didn't tide you over. So mid hot dogs.
Exactly. No, they were good, but I had one, and it was like at 10 in the morning.
Oh yeah.
And the game was at 1.
Yeah.
So like I wasn't about to pay like $10.
Yeah,
for
set yourself
a
up
hot
for
dog.
failure.
Exactly. I did set myself
Next
up for
time
failure.
we'll prepare better.
Yeah, we
and
will.
I will
Hey,
be there
this
next
Saturday.
time.
There's a home game.
I should be there.
Yeah, we'll be there. And then they play Penn State the following week. So.
Should be a close
We
one.
need to get a win this week, 100%. Lou Nichols hasn't been the same so far as last year, but we're 2 games in, so we'll see. Is that pretty much it? Are we ready to get into week 1 review of the NFL season?
Yeah, I think so.
All right, let's do it. Should we just say the weekly picks, like who won
Yeah,
now?
yeah.
All right, so the review of week 1, obviously, if you didn't listen to last week's episode, go listen right now. We do weekly picks if you're new around here. We pick every single game, and then this year we're adding 3 games that we're choosing a team to cover the spread. It can be any game or any team we want. We're just adding 3 spreads into our points. So 19 total points available this week. Most ever. You know, you're thinking this is going to be a big, high-scoring week. I got 6 out of 19. That's got to be, like, I don't have my history books here. Hopefully someone has one at home. That's got to be the worst winning percentage in weekly picks history.
Yeah,
6
it's
for
got
19.
to be. It's
I don't
gotta
think
be.
I ever got 6 when we did 16 games.
The thing is, I went back and I listened, and I was literally like, "This is awful. Like, we are sucking."
Like, it was, and we're gonna go over the games to talk about what happened, obviously. So I'm usually I kind of
6.
give it like a hint at like who won, you know, like, oh, I wonder who won. I got 6. I'm not winning with 6. But you didn't do much better. 8 out of 19 for
I'll
you.
take
Like,
it. I'll take it.
You
But,
got
like,
it.
dude, a win is a win is a win
Exactly.
in this game.
In weekly picks, a win. It's just like an NFL game. Like,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter what happened. A dub is a dub. It's
Goes
important.
in as 1-0.
So 1-0 on the year for you. Major. I am keeping track as well of the spreads each week. I went 1 for 3 on my spreads. I took the Pittsburgh Steelers to cover, and they ended up
Yep.
winning the game outright. I didn't pick them to win, so I got that one, and I missed my other 2. You went 0 for 3 on your spread picks. So
Yeah. Well, that's interesting to keep track of throughout the year too.
yeah,
Okay.
I might not like. Right, I guess I could just like add them up every week, like
Yeah.
to see like who has the most. But
Did we ever forget? And like, you don't have to do the 4 or 3. You can just do the number that we get right.
Right, yeah, exactly.
Who won last season? Do we know?
No, I still didn't.
We didn't confirm.
I was thinking about doing it actually, and just never did.
That's all right.
Yeah, I mean, we don't even have to. I don't even have to look at my notebook. I can just go to our old episodes and listen.
Yeah, that's a great point. That's a great
probably
point.
a much better idea. I don't even know where that notebook is. But let's talk about like some of the games from last week. Let's start off with the Detroit Lions. Obviously, the Lions lost to the Philadelphia Eagles 38-35, I believe was the final score.
It was.
The score doesn't really tell the tale of the whole game. Like you would think it was it was a high-scoring game, obviously, but we come out first drive, knock it out of the park. I mean, it was a phenomenal first drive, 50-yard run from DeAndre Swift. Jamal punches it in. We're on top. Like, this is feeling great. I think we even had Philly go 3-and-out on the first drive, too. Maybe not 3-and-out, but they didn't score. And then after that, it was a shit show. Jared Goff could not convert a first down. We went 3-and-out like 5 times in a row, and Philadelphia did the opposite. They scored a touchdown on like every single drive. And we ended up scoring right before the half. So at halftime, it was like 28-14 or 31-14. Bad.
It was horrendous.
And then coming out in the second half, or I guess I don't think it was 31-14, but we were losing at halftime by a good amount. Second half, it kind of was more of the same. Philly came out and scored right away. And then that's when we started to get going. Jared Goff we had a lot of third downs where we like needed a first down, obviously, and we were converting. Goff started hitting his guys. A lot of drop balls early in the game that was getting fixed. Running the ball was obviously very effective. And it comes down to we get the ball we score, and then we hold Philly to a 4th down. Miles Sanders up the gut, 4th and inches with not much time left. Looked like we had him, and he broke it out. Big run. Philly wins. But takeaways from this game.
It was a really good game. Anybody who watched the game, if you didn't watch the game and maybe only turned it on for the 4th quarter, it does kind of feel like the same old Lions. We're going to come back in garbage time when nobody really cares about the game anymore, and then the other team's going to actually just win it at the end of the game. However, it didn't really feel like that. I think if we weren't playing a mobile-ass quarterback like Jalen Hurts, that game is a completely different story. A lot of people were incredibly disappointed with Aiden Hutchinson's performance. I think that is blasphemous. Jalen Hurts had to get out of the pocket. He was being forced out of the pocket. That is all you can do from your D-line with D-tackles, or D-ends and D-tackles. They're not going to catch this guy. This is Jalen Hurts.
Yeah.
They pushed him out of the pocket, made him go on the run, made him throw, and we didn't get the sacks that we needed. But I think Hutch played a great game with the amount of pressure he was getting to Jalen Hurts.
And like the score, 38 points. It sounds like a lot. I think we played better than the score shows defensively. Like, we were in the backfield a lot, applying pressure to Jalen Hurts. We just couldn't complete the play. Like you said, I think we had 1 sack on the game, and it came late. We could have had maybe 7 or 8 sacks.
Yeah.
Like, that's how often we were in the backfield. Hutchinson was there a lot. Obviously, he didn't have the stats, the box score numbers, but you watch the game, he definitely played pretty well against a really good offensive line. Jeff Okudah, really underrated game as well. Locked down Devontae Smith. That was his assignment. Devontae Smith did not have a single catch. He was on A.J. Brown a little bit here and there. A.J. Brown torched us, though, but it wasn't really like one-on-one coverage type thing. It was a lot of middle of the field, finding holes. Really good game out of A.J. Brown. And Jalen Hurts played excellent. But
yeah, it felt like more it was just like less than bad defense.
Yeah.
Just those two being on the exact same page.
100%.
Jalen Hurts would roll out, and all of a sudden A.J. Brown would just appear open. All of a sudden he's open, and it was fun to watch, low-key.
You take away that Miles Sanders 25-yard run at the end of the game, right? Like, because obviously Miles Sanders had a really good game. And it's obvious you can hypothetically take away any play, but like, let's just say, because we had him down in the backfield and he escaped. Like, let's just say we tackle him there. The only thing that beat us was Jalen Hurts scrambling and A.J. Brown. That was it. No one else he was throwing to Dallas Goedert had a few plays, but that was it. And the running game wasn't really all there from the running backs. It was Jalen Hurts running the ball and A.J. Brown. That was all that killed us, and it put up 38 points on us. But, like, we just need to fix those type of things. Next week you play against Carson Wentz. It's not gonna be the same story.
Yeah,
we're gonna have 5 sacks.
I would toss in a third reason, and that's the drops early in the game.
Yeah,
there were a ton of drop
I was
balls.
just saying, like, defensively, but
I think those 3 things. I think that, A, you clean up your offensive problems that you had in the first half, and B, you fix your defense on. Who can beat us at that point?
Yeah.
Next week should be a totally different story. Carson Wentz is a quarter of the quarterback that Jalen Hurts
Even though
is.
Carson Wentz had a monster.
Yeah, he did. And maybe I shouldn't have said that. I might have jinxed us. But I think we can pressure him, and he won't go anywhere with the pressure. So
Worst
I'm really
offensive
excited.
line, worst quarterback. I don't know if it's worse weapons or not. Who knows? Running backs are about on the same tier. And that's another thing. Like, Lions fans are disappointed about this Week 1 game because same old Lions. This is not the same old Lions. This team is clearly much more fun than the team was last year. That game could have been a blowout easy. That team that was the same story as last year's game against Philly, and it became a blowout. We lost like 44-6. We end up coming back in this game, almost winning against a really good Philly team. That's like a top 3 team we're gonna play all year. So this should be nothing to worry about as Lions fans. Obviously, to be 1-0 over 0-1 would be a much better feeling, but I come away from that game excited for the rest of the year.
Yeah, that Philly team is legit, man. And the fact that we fought till the very end of the game, where, like you said, last year we sucked.
Yeah.
They like murdered us. It was brutal.
It was the worst game of the year.
Yeah. So it was awesome to see this year. I'm really excited.
And to
going
put up
forward.
5 touchdowns against that Philly team, 5 touchdowns Week 1. We didn't have to settle for field goals. We marched the ball. It wasn't like we just had 60-yard bombs for touchdowns. We had the one to DJ Chark that was like our big play, which absolute dot by Jared Goff and great catch from DJ Chark to make up for his drop from early in the game. But we were marching down the field and finishing in the red zone. That is something the Lions have really been poor at the last several years. Is we get the ball in the red zone and we can't finish. We either go for it on 4, don't get it, or we end up settling for a field goal. We didn't at all at this game, which was excellent. And I'm just excited. I'm super excited.
I think biggest takeaway is Lions looked good. They looked
I think
good.
so too.
That's it. Not great. They looked good.
Exactly.
Which is pretty awesome.
You balance out the offense a little bit. Don't have 5 straight 5 and outs and then 4 straight touchdowns. You mix those in together a little bit. I think we're going to be just fine.
Yep, me too.
We can go through these games, just talk about like a little bit from each one. Not each one, but just the important ones. Buffalo Rams Thursday night. We both picked Rams. Major L. Buffalo dominated. Really,
Stafford looked bad.
Stafford looked really bad. I don't know if it's the injury or...
I think you can tell the injury is affecting him. He overthrew 3 guys.
Yeah.
And underthrew multiple guys for picks.
That's not Stafford-like.
No,
the
not
accuracy
at all.
is always there.
Yeah, so that's where I think the elbow is really affecting him. Scary fantasy QB tab going forward if your name isn't Cooper Kupp.
Yeah.
Scary guy to be the QB of your receivers. If you have Allen Robinson, blah blah blah, it's a little scary going forward.
Much better like warm up game almost this week for them against Atlanta. But yeah, Buffalo just played so well. I mean, Josh Allen connecting with everyone on that offense looked unstoppable. Even though he did have like 2 picks, but like I don't really think either of them were really his fault. So
yeah, so interesting. The Rams and the Rams and the Broncos are like 2 of the biggest teams in the league that don't play their guys in the preseason. And they both like came out and just looked like shit to start off. So maybe I've seen some things about the correlation between starters playing in the preseason and winning your first couple games.
It definitely could have something to do with it. 100%.
That's something I'm gonna keep my eyes out for the rest of the year. The next 2 weeks for the most part.
Yeah,
and really see if it matters.
The Pittsburgh-Cincinnati game. No one wanted to win this game. At least, actually, the Steelers, I guess, wanted to win. The Bengals did not want to win. I mean, 4 interceptions from Joe Burrow, 2 fumbles. Still, they ended up coming back, scoring that late touchdown with Jamar Chase. The Steelers' defense was all over the place, forcing turnovers, obviously. And then in overtime, it was on the Jamar Chase touchdown at the end of the game. Blocked extra point from Minkah Fitzpatrick. I mean, how do you allow this as the Cincinnati Bengals? When's the last time you saw a blocked extra point?
Troy Polamalu?
Yeah.
the Steelers?
There probably has been one, but I can't recall.
And not one, an extra point is the crazy part.
And I get it, it's not a 10-yard field goal anymore. Like, it is a 30-some yard field goal, but still, like, to win the game, that wins the game. McPherson, one of the clutchest kickers in the league, gets his kick blocked. They head to overtime, and McPherson has a 29-yard field goal to win the game and just misses it. I mean, like, he just misses an easy gimme field goal, and Pittsburgh ends up winning the game off of a deep one from Chris Boswell, even though he missed one in overtime as well. Like, it was just, this game was so long, but Pittsburgh got the dub. So
it was like the most disappointing game to watch because I expected so much from got T. Higgins in fantasy, and B, I mean, that didn't go well. T. Higgins comes out with concussion on his second catch of the game, midway through maybe start of the second quarter, early on in the game, out with a concussion. And Joe Burrow looked like he sucked. He was terrible. He might have been beyond terrible. He was awful. He was horrendous.
It was just a lot of bad balls, like throwing into a lot of triple coverage, into contested areas, and not very accurate. Like, and he still fought back in that game, so I give him props for that. But yeah, not the Joe Burrow we expected for week
To me, it felt like the Steelers were the only team that you could have thrown 4 picks and fumbled the ball twice and still been in the game against.
Right.
Like, I don't think there's another team in the NFL that allows that to happen.
I feel like the Lions would do something like that, dude.
Maybe.
TJ Watt also is going to be out for like 6 weeks or something. Torn pec, but he doesn't need surgery, so he will be good. The Colts-Texans, one of the most worst, boring games of all time. They tie week 1. Gotta love an old-fashioned tie. Love it. Week 1.
And why is it week 1 that ties are so common?
Exactly, because no team has figured out how to win a game yet. It takes them a few weeks to figure it out.
The Colts with one of the worst red zone goal line 3 plays I've ever seen in the history of football.
With Jonathan Taylor on their team.
They pulled a Seattle Seahawks and decided to throw the ball 3 straight times when you have Jonathan Taylor in your backfield.
Like, I get it. Maybe you're thinking, they think we have JT. We're going to throw it.
Once.
Try that one time. And then, okay, now we'll give it to him. Yeah. Then we'll throw if we have to. New Orleans-Atlanta was a good game. Atlanta blew the lead like always. New Orleans won. Don't really have anything to say about that.
Is Atlanta the new Lions?
They were the Lions last year. They were like, but like the Lions are like I guess we do blow leads as well, but like the Falcons, like truly, like
like they
every game they're gonna be in the lead. Yeah. The Lions aren't like that. Some games where it's not gonna be in the lead.
It's pretty weird how that
I know happens. It is weird. I guess none of these games are really that important. Like Carolina Cleveland was a really bad game. Baker played bad. Chicago San Francisco was a wild game. That was the one upset pick I got right. The weather played a huge factor in this game, obviously, with the water on the field. Can't really, from fantasy aspect, you can't really take anything away from this game because of the weather. No one could throw the ball or run on the field.
It was a pretty just awful situation. Yeah. Chicago sucks. Like
they got the dub. Like
no, I mean like the
Oh, the
Bears,
city.
like the franchise sucks.
Yeah,
like
the
the fact
field.
that you couldn't get the water off your field. Are you kidding me? You don't have drains on
Yeah.
that bitch. I know they do, but make sure it works. That's just so poor.
Yeah, it is very.
Get a dome or do something.
Jacksonville, Washington was a decent game. The Raiders Chargers, not as fun of a game as I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be this big revenge game. It still had a good ending, but the Chargers win that one. The Giants upset the Tennessee Titans off of Saquon Barkley carrying that team. The Chiefs blow out the Cardinals. Love to see it. Don't like the Cardinals. The Vikings blow out the Packers. I guess I love to see it because the Packers get blown out, but typical Packers fashion. They're going to suck week 1
Yep.
and then turn up after that. Sunday Night Football was another game that just like sucked. The Bucks Cowboys thought this was going to be a really good game. Dak Prescott gets hurt late in this game, and they said 6 to 8 weeks, but Jerry Jones said they're not putting him on IR because he's not going to miss more than 4 weeks. So
Jerry knows best.
exactly,
Jerry Jones, Doctor Jerry Jones.
he's every title.
He is team doctor.
But Tom Brady didn't even play very well in this game, but they still won. Chris Godwin also got hurt. And then Monday Night Football, Seattle gets revenge on Russell Wilson and Geno Smith for MVP. Seattle defeats Denver on Monday night. What do you think about Seattle fans booing Russell Wilson coming into the game?
I'm fine with that. I don't think it's that bad. I mean, obviously, like, he won them a Super Bowl, but the way he left was pretty distasteful. He clearly didn't want to be in Seattle, but Seattle sucked. So I don't know. There's both sides. I'm not a Seattle fan.
Right.
I'm okay with it because I think I see where they're coming from. But, like, there are some Seattle fans who are like, what are you guys doing? He won us a Super Bowl. I don't know.
Like, the whole place was booing him, obviously. Like, when he came out, first drive, everything. I think it'd be different if he just, like, straight up left the team or, like, demanded a trade. But he got traded from the team. Like, they chose to trade him. I think it was obvious it was going to happen. I compare it to a Matthew Stafford situation. I don't find it's if anything, we should boo him because Stafford never won anything for us. Literally never won a playoff game. Lions fans love Stafford. I love Stafford. So it's really weird to me. Like, obviously, I'm not a Seattle fan, but I just find it weird that they boo him because he won them a Super Bowl. They were a really good team in the NFL for like 8 straight seasons, and they sucked. The rest of the team sucked, so they traded him away. Like, I don't really see why the fans are so upset about that.
It doesn't really help that I think Russell Wilson is the most dislikable
Right.
guy in football. And
A lot
that's
of
like,
people dislike
I'm
him,
not
yeah.
trying to hate. Like, and I'm a guy who dislikes Russ, but he is just such a cornball at times. Like,
Yeah.
so I can kind of see that too. And also with Seattle being the 12th man, it's like their job
Right.
to get in the head of the
opponent.
opposing.
You're right.
Like, it is still a game that you're trying to win.
And they did.
And I think booing him probably was a surprise to him.
Yeah.
Like, he probably was like, damn, like, this kind of sucks.
And shout out Pete Carroll for choosing to start Geno Smith over Drew Lock after, Drew Lock was involved in the trade, and we kind of all expected that because Geno played really well. He
Yes,
had a
sir.
fantastic game.
We all
we'll
tried
see
to
if it
write him off.
continues. Exactly.
He don't write back.
Exactly.
He don't.
So, sorry, go ahead.
Quarterbacks in revenge games, 0-3 this week.
Really?
Russell Wilson, Baker Mayfield, Joe Flacco. All lost.
I was trying to think of who the third was. I
Oh,
don't
and three.
think the Joe Flacco one
It
should be
does.
taken very seriously.
It does.
Flacco started week 2, by the way. So,
Yes, sir. Well, he lost week 1.
did you have a player of the week for week 1?
Oh, shit. That is something I
You can just think
yeah,
of it.
yeah,
Want me to
yeah.
say mine first?
Yeah, yeah.
Mine, biased, DeAndre Swift,
Oh,
player of
yes,
the week.
sir.
I could have picked Saquon Barkley, but I went with, I have to go to the next page. I went with DeAndre Swift strictly because the dude was unstoppable. Like, they need to get him the ball much more. 15 carries for 144 yards, plus a touchdown, 3 catches, 31 yards. But it wasn't just like he had 2 big runs. Like, he, every time touched the ball, was getting 8, 10 yards every play. Domination from DeAndre Swift. He is going for that 1K, both sides. He wasn't lying.
Dude,
Deuce Staley was not lying.
He's going for 1,500 at this rate.
going for
Dude's going to be a
30,000.
monster. He's literally like, he will be if he is still an 82 overall in
Yeah,
Madden.
bro, what?
Like, that is such a joke. He looked so unstoppable on the field. My player of the week, I am going to go with Saquon. The dude is such a baller.
Yeah.
You can also go with Justin Jefferson. He kind of is like
Yeah, Jets ball.
cementing himself as this
One of the
this
best.
monster that you have to game plan for as if he's Calvin Johnson.
He just gets so open. Like,
what does he do? What
we
does
were
he
watching that game, and it's just like play after play. Like, he's just open. It's like, dude, what are we doing?
It doesn't even feel like he was being forced the football.
Yeah,
Like,
no.
it
If
was
you're that wide open, I'm going to throw it to you.
like Kirk Cousins had the easiest job in the world.
And Kirk played phenomenal,
Oh, my
too.
God.
Like, he really balled out.
Ivan might not be crazy for thinking MVP Kirk. This could be the year.
No, it
this,
definitely could
he
be.
throws for 6,000
Kirk's
and
still one of the most underrated guys.
65 TDs.
You never know.
I never
I
know.
also gave a defensive player of the week just for fun because Minkah Fitzpatrick had one of the craziest defensive performances
He did.
I've seen. 14 tackles, a pick six, and a blocked extra point that literally they would have lost the game if that kick goes in. What a crazy week out of Minkah
He was
Fitzpatrick.
on like he was on him mode.
Exactly.
He turned
Like, how
on
do
him
you-
difficulty.
That is like like I don't even. How do you have that type of game? Like anything that you could have done. I guess he didn't have a sack, so like get better. I guess.
But like at some point during the game, you're doing this all, and you're like, dude, I feel like I'm involved on every play.
Yeah.
Like, am I making a play every time?
And the pick six plus a blocked
It's
game-winning
crazy.
kick is just nuts. So I think we're ready to hop into weekly picks. As promised, we did make a new season 3 song. If you didn't listen to last week, we had a crazy awesome intro to weekly picks. But the jingle is back. Let's go. High tempo weekly picks.
High tempo weekly picks.
All NFL games of the week.
What teams are gonna cover the spread?
Season 3. Welcome back. Go Lions.
Yes, sir.
High tempo weekly picks. That was the weekly picks jingle. Let us know how it was. Was it fun listening
It's
to it?
so good, man. It is so good. It's got a lot more character than the last one. People loved the last one.
And it was so catchy. The last
Yeah.
one was, but it was nice, short, and simple. This
Yeah.
one's like a whole song.
Yeah, like I remember Seth at one point did tell me, and maybe I shouldn't say this, but he was like, I should never change that.
Oh, I know. Like it's so good. The
'cause he-
old one is really good.
But like I think new, fresh, even iCarly would change up their intro
Yeah.
track.
No, they didn't change that up ever.
Yes, they did.
No way.
Yeah, they
iCarly?
They like re-sing it after a couple of years with a little more extra guitar.
Oh
in
yeah,
it.
yeah. But like it's still the same song.
Yeah,
though.
yeah,
This
it's
is
still
a
the same
completely different
words.
song.
I guess we still get
It's
the
still the
high
same
tempo
topic,
weekly
though, yeah.
picks and
But yeah, that's a new song. I do like I will say I don't know if it's better than the old one,
Me
but
either.
just from a like OG aspect, I think that's why, because that song is just so good.
so fire.
This actually, I thought this was gonna take us a long time to make, but really didn't. But we're not like singers, so don't judge us if our tone's off or whatever.
The tones weren't off.
Okay,
like
good.
I was listening to them. They were great.
Perfect.
We sounded awesome.
So let's do what the song says. Hop into weekly picks. Thursday night football. We have the 1-0 LA Chargers taking on the 1-0 Kansas City Chiefs.
This game's interesting.
It is.
This game should be, I mean, based off our judgment and the offenses that are here and the defenses that aren't really here, this game should be crazy high scoring.
Mm-hmm.
You know who's the best at scoring touchdowns? Patrick Mahomes.
Yep.
I'm going to go with the Kansas City Chiefs.
I also took the Chiefs in this
course you
game.
did.
This one's tough because I like taking the Chargers here. I played against the Chargers in our team league last week, which, by the way, Lions took the dub over the Chargers in that league. Major W. But I'm playing against the Chargers again this week for a second straight week. So I got to take the Chiefs here. Love the Chiefs pick. I have Mahomes and fantasy went off.
Just so funny. How does that even, like, the league is so random. There are
Yeah.
14
And I have the
people,
Lions again.
and it's the same exact
Lions
matchup.
versus Chargers, but it's just a different guy has the Chargers this week.
That is so funny.
Exactly, it's gonna be hilarious. So if the Lions beat the Chargers again,
They're better than
They're
the
the new
Chargers.
Chargers are the new Cardinals. They're our
Yep.
new little brothers.
Yes, sir.
And I won't like them, but I love Herbert. So.
I like the Chargers.
But I won't after the.
Yeah, right.
I know. Next we have the 1-0 Washington Commanders traveling to Ford Field to take on the Detroit Lions at 0-1.
We've talked so much about the Lions. The Lions are better than the Commanders. And I think they're a lot better than 1.5 point favorites.
Yeah.
So I'm taking the spread. They're going to cover. I seriously could see this game getting out of hand, which we haven't said for a Lions team since the Cardinals.
I don't know. That's rough. That's a risky thing to
Listen,
say.
I'm confident right now in this.
All right.
Don't knock the
Look in the
confidence.
camera and say it.
The Detroit Lions will cover 1.5 points. The negative 1.5 points. Is
Yes.
that how you'd say that?
Just
perfectly?
cover the spread.
Cover the spread.
Yeah.
They will cover that shit easily.
Cover 1.5. I was gonna take that, but I felt like it was such a cheap route to take I'm just kidding.
God damn.
Like 1.5. Like, are they going to win by one?
No,
You know,
that's literally what I thought.
By the way, FanDuel odds, don't get mad at us because Caesars is way different, so don't get mad. We're using FanDuel. I am taking the Lions, obviously. This game is kind of a must-win. Like, as much as it's weird to say that because it's literally week 2, but we travel to Minnesota next week. Based on the week 1 game, I don't think we're beating Minnesota. You know, as much as a confident Lions fan I am, we got to win this game against a worse Washington team than us, I would say. And we're at home, then we go on the road. Got to win this game. This is also the first time the Lions have been favored in a football game in over 20 games. I think it's been 22 games since the Lions have been favored to win a game. Wild.
That's crazy.
It could change by the time Sunday comes, but because DeAndre Swift is questionable. He didn't practice today.
Haven't they covered their last 14 of 22 games?
Last year, I know they went 11-6 against the spread on the season, so that definitely could be possible. Yeah,
that's crazy.
So they were really good, but obviously they were just favored to lose by like 15 in every game last year.
That's a great point.
Next, we have the 0-1 New York Jets taking on the 1-0 Cleveland Browns.
I've got the Cleveland Browns continuing to roll. Their run game should be very good. Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt are just so talented. Such an elite backfield. I feel bad for Nick Chubb fantasy owners.
Yeah.
Get rid of him. Kareem Hunt.
You know you're getting yourself into.
Like, he steals every freaking touchdown from Nick Chubb. I feel so bad. But like you said, you knew. You drafted him.
You know what's going on.
Good luck.
I didn't take him for that
Me
reason.
either.
Oh, yeah, give me the Browns here. Don't really have much else to say.
I do have Aaron Jones, though. How much better is it? I mean, A.J. Dillon is a touchdown.
He stole
whore.
and not even the touchdowns. He stole the carries and the receptions. Dude. He just straight up outworked Aaron Jones.
Still trying to trade him. Don't really get.
Don't trade for Aaron Jones. No, I'm just kidding. Next, we have the 1-0 Tampa Bay Buccaneers taking on the 1-0 New Orleans Saints.
I've got the Saints here. They're known. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are their little brother. They are better than TB. Yeah. I've got Saints winning this game.
I got the Saints too. Like strictly like you said, since Tom Brady has joined the Buccaneers, the Saints are 4-0 against the Bucs in the regular season. They did lose to them in the playoffs 2 years ago. But yeah, gotta take the Saints here. Jameis Winston, what a character. You see his interview
yeah, dude, about the pain.
It's pain everywhere. We gotta use it as motivation or whatever it was. I love Jameis. He's one of my favorite players in the league just because of his personality. Give me the Saints.
He's become one of everybody. I mean, you can't dislike him.
I know.
In his interviews, he's just so charismatic and
he's a good
funny.
quarterback. Like,
yes, he is.
Good. Yeah, 30 picks, whatever.
I will argue that shit till the day I die.
The dude slings the football.
Yes, he does.
Next, we have the 0-1 Carolina Panthers taking on the 1-0 New York Giants. New York football.
Battle of the elite running backs.
Yeah.
Saquon Barkley looks like he is in his old form again. I mean, that week 1 was crazy. He looked like Penn State prime rookie year Saquon Barkley. Christian McCaffrey, on the other end, didn't look like his prime self. However, I think he is just so much based off of offensive usage and receptions out of the backfield that like his prime self only looks like 10 more catches for 6 more yards. Like that's kind of how he works. What does that have to do with the game? I'm not really sure. I will be taking the Giants in this game.
I'm also taking the Giants here. I think the Giants are going to continue to roll. Panthers, Baker Mayfield did not look good. Not saying Daniel Jones looked any better. But I don't know. The use of Christian McCaffrey was a little weird to me. Saquon Barkley got used a lot. I think that is going to play a factor here. Giants 2-0 start.
Mm-hmm. It is so weird that we are
the same
picking the same.
It was like that last week. The first 8 games were all the same. All right, next we have the 0-1 New England Patriots traveling to Pittsburgh to take on the 1-0 Steelers.
In this game, I'm taking the Patriots, obviously. I hate the Steelers, and I am taking them to cover.
Wait, the Patriots?
Yeah, taking the Patriots to cover -2.5.
Oh, Patriots are favored to win?
Yeah.
Really? That's crazy. Damn, Pittsburgh at home isn't favored to beat them? That's
I
wild.
think so. You might have to double-check that. Maybe double-check that.
I can double-check it really quick.
just to make sure. I hate the Steelers, and I'm so mad at the Bengals for not winning. Granted, they wouldn't have covered the spread, but at least they would have gotten the win.
Right.
It's just so annoying to watch the Steelers win these shitter games over and over again.
All right, so NFL Week 2 odds. Here we go. Yeah, the Patriots are favored to win. I mean, not that I didn't believe you, but that's just wild.
No, yeah, no. I'm actually glad you checked.
That's surprising to me.
Yeah, it is surprising when you mentioned it. At Pittsburgh, it's crazy.
I know, right?
Shitty field.
So Patriots to win and to cover 2.5.
Yep.
Doubling down on the Steelers. I'm going with the Steelers here to win this game. Defense looked unstoppable. Patriots looked stoppable on offense against Miami, and Pittsburgh's got a better defense, so I am going to take the Steelers. Next, we have the 0-1 Indianapolis Colts taking on the 0-1 Jacksonville Jaguars.
It is early in the year to get into that third column.
I know, like I
Very
hate writing
early.
it down.
I am so excited for the Colts the rest of the season. Pittman literally looks like a monster. Might be changing my opinion of Matt Ryan during this season. JT is still Jonathan Taylor. What a fun fantasy team this is. I'm going with the Colts.
Listen, I am sick and tired of the Colts losing to these shitty teams. I'm sick of it.
They did it last year.
They did it last year. First game this year, I'm all Matt Ryan. He's going to change that in Indianapolis. I think the narrative of a quarterback going to Indianapolis and sucking is true. I thought Matt Ryan was going to turn that around. I'm taking Jacksonville in this game. I'm tired of picking the Colts in these games because it's the most obvious pick. It's not. The Colts just I don't understand. I'll pick them in big games, but these little games against bad teams, give me the Jags here. I'm taking my first upset pick.
I mean, that is great logic. Actually, you took Pittsburgh.
Right, yeah.
Technically an upset.
True.
However, that is great logic because I never even thought about that. Last year, everybody was like, yeah, playoff lock Colts.
Yeah.
They missed by losing to the Jags, right?
Exactly. They lost to they lost to Houston and Jags their last 2 games of the year.
Yeah.
What? And now they lost to Houston this week. Houston, dude, Davis Mills, I think he's underrated. I definitely do. That team sucks. That team is really bad. You tied with them. In overtime, you couldn't put up a point to end the game. Give me the Jags.
It's a joke.
Next, we have the 1-0 Miami Dolphins taking on the 1-0 Baltimore Ravens.
I've got the Ravens in this game. This game should be super fun to watch. Tons of speed on the field at all times, and electric playmakers all over the place. Got the Ravens winning this one, though.
I'm going to take the Dolphins in this game. Baltimore played pretty well against the Jets, but not as well as I kind of figured they would with a no Zach Wilson Jets. Miami looked really, really good against New England. This could be Lamar Jackson's future team if Tua does not have an excellent year, but he looked good in week 1. I'm going to take the Dolphins. Next, we have the 0-1 Atlanta Falcons taking on the 0-1 LA Rams.
LA Rams are going to win this football game. It's at the home field. They're pissed off, I hope at least. LA Rams.
Yeah, Rams, not much else to say. Maybe the Falcons will get a lead, but they will blow it. Next, we have the 1-0 Seattle Seahawks taking on the 0-1 San Francisco 49ers.
I am shocked that the 49ers lost to the Bears. It was obviously I picked them to cover the spread and everything, but I was just stunned at how bad it was. Granted, again, the field conditions were shit. That was no true test of how good these football teams really are. I'm going with 49ers against the Seahawks. I think they're better than the Seahawks.
I think they're better than the Seahawks, too. This will be the true first game. I'm excited to see Trey Lance in action. I'm going to take the Niners here, but I am going to take Seattle to cover at plus 9.5. The way Geno Smith looked, I don't see this team getting blown out. The defense played really well for Seattle as well. I think it could be a close game, so taking the Niners to win, but Seattle plus 9.5. Next, we have the 0-1 Cincinnati Bengals taking on the 0-1 Dallas Cowboys.
For most people, this is easy. For fans of Central Michigan University, this pick is a lot tougher.
Means a lot.
Cooper Rush is back to being a starting QB in the NFL.
Love to see it.
Which is awesome. The Red Rocket, the Ginger Ninja, I don't know.
Those were both good.
Those are both good and off the top. Red Rocket's a little overused. But,
whatever.
I'm really excited to watch this football game. I don't know anything about how it's going to go, so I'm going with who I think is the better team. That's Cincinnati.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm going with Cincinnati as well. Obviously, no Dak Prescott. Cooper Rush is there. But Joe Burrow, 4 interceptions week 1. You know what's a dude that likes to intercept the ball? Trayvon Diggs.
Yes, he
I
does.
think that can keep them in the game. I'm going to take Dallas to cover here at plus 7.5. Back-to-back covers here. Yeah, Cincinnati's going to win, but I think Cooper Rush can keep it close, keep it less than a touchdown. Going to take Dallas to cover here. Next, we have the 0-1 Houston Texans taking on the 0-1 Denver Broncos.
Okay, I just didn't write this game down for some reason. I'm taking the Broncos.
All right, just write it down for me.
I will.
Just put Denver and just square it in. Yeah, I'm taking the Broncos here too. Broncos, you got to recover from that loss. Good thing you're playing Houston because they also don't know how to win a game. Next, we have the 0-1 Arizona Cardinals taking on the 0-1 Las Vegas Raiders.
Go Raiders. Cardinals are going to be bad all year. Double XP weekend in Call of Duty this week.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
Yeah, last week it was too.
Oh, that makes sense. No, okay, I don't know if that's real because I saw something that was like Kyler Murray is now 0
I saw that.
600 and like it was just like a number that makes no sense.
Yeah, maybe last weekend was maybe double XP.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't play Call of Duty.
I am taking the Cardinals here. Something I don't like to do is take the teams I dislike, and I like the Raiders. But I don't know. I just am getting the vibes here of a Cardinals dub. They got blown out. They got spanked week 1. They need to come out and make a statement on the road. So I'm going to take the Cardinals here. We have 4 primetime games this week with 2 Monday nighters. So our Sunday night game, we have the 1-0 Chicago Bears taking on the 0-1 Green Bay Packers. Not something I would have usually thought I'd hear with the numbers next to their names.
Yeah, that makes sense. These games are not as bad to pick in all honesty because you're picking between 2 teams you hate, so you just pick the team you think is going to win.
Yeah.
I hate the Bears. I hate the Packers. Packers should win this football game.
Yeah.
Going with the Packers.
I'm going with the Packers, too. As much as I hate the Packers, they have really owned the Bears the last so many years. Even in the years that they've been bad, they own the Bears. Give me the Packers here.
Yep. Aaron Rodgers owns SoFi.
He should recover. Soldier, you mean?
Yeah, SoFi.
That's it. I don't know
Other
if he's
end of the
played there
country.
very often. First Monday night football game, we have the 0-1 Tennessee Titans taking on the 1-0 Buffalo Bills.
Tennessee with such a disappointment. And a lot of people predicted the disappointing season from Tennessee. Mike Vrabel's good at his job. I don't know if he's this great at his job to lose his best wide receiver weapon, still have a shit quarterback, and your only offense is running the football. I'm going with Buffalo in this game. However, Mike Vrabel's a great coach, and he makes some scrappy games. So I'm taking them to cover plus 9.5.
Yeah. I am taking Buffalo as well. They looked really good week 1. Tennessee did not look really good. And I'm doing the opposite of you. I'm taking Buffalo to cover minus 9.5. I think that they can win by 10 points. I would assume so, as they beat the Rams by a good amount. But you never know. It's the NFL. What you think is going to happen never happens. But I'm going to take Buffalo to cover as long as get the dub, doubling down there. Finally, we have the 1-0 Minnesota Vikings taking on the 1-0 Philadelphia Eagles.
Go Vikings. Win the game. Go beat the Eagles. Screw them. Represent the division. Let's go.
This is a tough game. This is going to be a really fun game. I'm excited for this one. I don't want to root for the Vikings, so I'm going to take the Eagles here. But the Eagles, man, after that week 1 game, Jalen Hurts, he played really good. But, man, he was doing a lot of, some P word stuff, like...
He was acting soft.
He was playing soft,
the
dish away, the fake falling to the ground and chucking into the ground.
That was the worst.
Just it irked me a little bit. It made me almost not pick them, but I am going to take them to beat the Vikings. So we ended up having a lot different towards the end there.
Majority. I think we had the last 9.
I think so.
That Minnesota team. I think one of the reasons I want to discuss this with you on the podcast. One of the reasons I've become such a fan of the Vikings is this is year 3 of me having Dalvin Cook in fantasy. So that means 3 straight years of being glued to Vikings games.
Which is fair.
I've gotten to see Kirk, who I love, evolve and continue to be great, and Jets just be a monster every single weekend.
They're a fun team to watch, 100%. They're one of the most fun teams to watch. I just can't root for them. They're a team that we compete against, need them to lose every week. But I understand, they're fun. They are 100%. They're my least hateable team out of the division, 100%.
Easily.
Yeah.
It's not even close.
I love Jets. He's awesome.
Yeah.
I have Dalvin in fantasy this year, too. So, I get where you're coming from. So how deep are we into this podcast?
15 minutes.
15?
50.
Okay. Let's do our starts and sits, and we can kind of speed through top 10 centers.
It's not that interesting.
There's no need to just go talk about every single guy. Everyone knows who every guy is.
And the NBA season is a month away.
Yeah, it's only 20 days away, actually.
Holy shit.
I know. Well, actually, I don't know if that's from preseason. I just saw something on Pistons Twitter that was 20 days away from seeing Cade.
They just got to fix the way that happens. Football and basketball should not start around the same time.
I think it's awesome.
I don't. It takes up a lot of my time.
Exactly. That's what I love about it. My time is spent watching them. All right, starts and sits for week 2 fantasy football. We're here for some fantasy football news. We have 3 guys each that you should start this week that we think, and obviously we're not just gonna say start Justin Jefferson, don't start Jalen Reagor. You know, like obviously we have like guys that are borderline. Should you start them or not? We're here to tell you what we think. I'm 0-1 in fantasy in my regular league, so maybe you should not take advice from me. I went 3-1 though in all my leagues combined.
I'm 2-1 last week.
I counted the team fantasy league.
Yeah, I only lost in the team fantasy
Okay,
league.
then that's good.
Yeah, I had a great week in both leagues.
There you go.
I had but like Keenan Allen and T Higgins both starting for your team, and you still win. That's a great fantasy manager. That's all management.
That is.
It's all management.
Good management. All right, my first guy that you should start this week is Cordero Patterson of the Atlanta Falcons. Why? As you have him on a sits. I know you have him on sits, though. I think Cordero should start week 1. He had 22 carries, or should start week 2. He had 22 carries in week 1. Only had 5 targets, where that's kind of where you expect him to get the ball. But playing against this Rams team, I could see them getting down early. They're gonna be pressure in the backfield. Cordero's gonna be there for all the dump offs from Marcus Mariota. I think you expect a big week out of Cordero, flipped around. Not as many carries, much more on the receiving end.
Yeah, that's definitely interesting. He's definitely on my sit list.
I figured,
just because I thought the 22 carries was so unrealistic.
Right.
But logically, that makes quite a bit of sense to me.
First guy on your starts list.
First guy on my start list is Julio Jones. With Chris Godwin
I like that.
probably being out, and obviously if Chris Godwin plays, don't start Julio Jones. But with Chris Godwin being out, Julio Jones is a must start. If you have him in your team and you're not starting him, go trade him for somebody that should be starting. He should start somewhere in the league. Julio Jones should be a monster.
Yeah, he had a good game last week too with Chris Godwin being there, and I think they have a much more favorable matchup this week with the Saints.
For sure.
Next guy on my starts list, unfortunately, is Antonio Gibson against the Detroit Lions. Antonio Gibson last week had 14 carries, had 8 targets with 7 catches, was really all over the place. And obviously no Brian Robinson. J.D. McKissick really was not much of a factor as we expected. You look at the game that Miles Sanders had against the Lions, had a pretty good fantasy game. And the Lions are really bad against guys in the flats, against running backs that can catch the ball out of the backfield. I expect Gibson to have another good game. Start him.
Is this the year of Gibson? Is this
It
the
might
year
be.
where he's actually decent?
I hope not, because I have Brian Robinson in 2 leagues. So.
And I have him in 1 league, but I might just trade him for Gibson. It's probably a
Think
bad
they'll
move.
do that?
No, I think that's
Say,
just an
that's a-
awful move. My second start, Juju Smith-Schuster. There's no way that Patrick Mahomes does something like he did last week, where he throws 5 touchdowns and not one of them sees Juju. Juju will score a touchdown this next week. And other than that, he had 11 points minus all that. I think he had like 6 catches for 50 yards.
Yeah, he actually had 6 for 79 and had a fumble. So, the
Yeah.
fumble's not going to happen every week,
Yeah.
So, and all that came, in the first half, too. Literally all of it. He was the most targeted guy on the field, just didn't get a touchdown.
Yeah.
Well, other than Kelsey. But my last start of the week, Gabe Davis against the Tennessee Titans. Week 1, he had a big week. Obviously, 4 catches, 88 yards, plus a touchdown. I think that he's going to do well against this Tennessee team because last week Tennessee played the Giants. Sterling Shepard, who's their deep threat, had a really big game, had 70-plus yards plus a touchdown. Gabe Davis is the deep threat. I mean, so is Stephon Diggs, but Gabe Davis is one of the deep threats for the Buffalo Bills. I expect probably a touchdown out of Gabe Davis in this game.
Yep, I would agree with that. My third starter is the obvious one. I know you didn't pick him because it was so obvious. You knew I was going to take him. Mike Williams. Keenan Allen is out. They really have Josh Palmer and this Carter guy who turns out to be a monster. What happened last week will not be replicated, I think, again, while Keenan Allen is
I
out.
hope not. I got Mike Williams and Juju. So
Yeah, I literally think it's impossible for what happened last week to happen again with Keenan being out. I think they might just toss Mike Williams in that spot. I know there's talk that Josh Palmer gets put there, but they've put Mike Williams there before. Last season they did it at the start of the year. I got Mike Williams.
I'm going to have to post this, the first one that when this episode comes out, because those guys are both Thursday night games.
Damn,
So I'm going to have to
you're
post
right.
these
You're
before.
right.
Maybe I'll do the sits. I'll do the sits as a later video, and I'll do the starts on Thursday.
Maybe.
Yeah, I think that's how I'll do it. I have another guy just for fun. I think Brandon Ayuk should be a starter this week against a Seattle team that had Jerry Jeudy, had a really big game against their defense, and they're playing in regular conditions. So I think Ayuk is another good one. Sits. First guy, Rashad Bateman against the Miami Dolphins. Do not start Rashad Bateman this week. He had a good fantasy game, but he only had 2 catches, 59 yards, had a touchdown though. But no wide receivers did well against Miami in week 1. I expect Baltimore to go heavy run game, and Mark Andrews didn't get involved that much. I think he's going to be involved more. I don't like starting Bateman this week against the Dolphins.
No, and I totally agree. I think anybody in that Ravens offense is just so sketchy. It's just so touchdown or bust.
Yeah.
Right now, especially. My number 1 is the worst fantasy start in fantasy history. It's Cam Akers. He isn't the starter. If you're not paying attention, Darrell Henderson is the starter in Los Angeles, which was so shocking. When Darrell Henderson came out and got the first 15 snaps, I was just shocked. I didn't even think about taking him because I knew Cam Akers would be the starter.
Right.
He wasn't. Do not start Cam Akers.
And I think that should not just be a this week thing.
That should be the rest of the year.
Do not start Cam Akers until we know what kind of volume he's going to get. I mean, like, we just don't even have a clue right now. Like, when is he going to get incorporated again? Maybe this week since they're playing against a worse team, but maybe they'll just go to Henderson. Who knows?
Yeah, Darrell Henderson. And he played well.
Yeah.
That's the issue. Darrell Henderson, I've never understood that other than Cam Akers was drafted.
Right.
Darrell Henderson is great. He is so good for that Los Angeles Rams team.
Yeah, he's been very good for them, 100%. My next guy to sit this week is rookie running back Dameon Pierce against the Denver Broncos. I'm not a big fan of Pierce this week. He is getting a lot of hype, but he had 11 carries in week 1. But I just think that this team could be losing early against the Broncos. They're not going to be running the ball much. Rex Burkhead was involved a lot in that in the pass game. Dameon Pierce he had 1 catch, I think, for like 6 yards. Isn't the pass catcher. So I think in a game against the Broncos, Dameon Pierce, you just keep him on the bench this week.
Yeah, my second guy is pretty similar. Rookie running back, James Cook. There's just no reason to do anything with him. He is not ready. Don't start him till week 7, week 8, week 9 when we know what his role is in the offense. They were dominating, and he still wasn't getting touches, which is scary. Interesting to see what happens with James Cook this year.
My last one is another Buffalo Bill, Dawson Knox against the Tennessee Titans. Obviously, Knox is kind of only a guy you start if you, A, have George Kittle, or B, just didn't take a tight end until late in your draft. But obviously, Dawson Knox did not do well in week 1, only had 1 catch with 2 targets. And I just think there's too many weapons in that Buffalo offense against a weaker Tennessee team that you can't. Yeah, Knox could have a good game. I don't think he's for sure not going to have a good game. But it's too big of a risk to start him over a safer option that's also on that same tier. I think Cole Kmet would be a safer option this week.
I think Gerald Everett is
Gerald Everett is 100% a safer option this week. So Dawson Knox, if you got him, maybe pick somebody else up. Even O.J. Howard might be a better start than Dawson Knox this week. So keep him on the bench.
My last one, and I did have Cordero. I thought of a different one. The entire Patriots backfield. Do not start them. I mean, they perfectly split 90 carries between 3 guys. Granted, Ty Montgomery is now out, but Ramondre wasn't used like we thought he was, and Damian Harris got the same amount of touches he does every game. Stay away from this Patriots backfield for as long as you can. Yeah. It's really nerve-wracking.
I think eventually Stevenson could have upside, but yeah, Harris is just he is one of the biggest touchdown or bust fantasy players in the league because he's not going to get a single catch ever. And yeah, maybe he'll get 80 yards one game, but he's going to get 8 points out of it unless he gets a touchdown. And yeah, they use Ty Montgomery a lot, which is kind of surprising.
They did a perfect 1/3 snap count.
Yeah.
Which is just crazy.
I hope Stevenson becomes a guy because I got him in one of my leagues.
I moved him.
I did add one more guy just for fun. Jeff Wilson Jr. I think you don't start him this week. I know that he is getting a lot of hype right now because of Elijah Mitchell going out. We know how Kyle Shanahan works. We know that as soon as one of these guys goes out, no one has proven themselves. I could see Tyrion Davis-Price coming in, getting 8 carries. They have Jordan Poyer. They signed Marlon Mack. I picked up Jeff Wilson in one of my leagues, so I hope he does well. I'm not going to start him. He's actually projected more. I have Singletary in my lineup right now in my double flex league. He's projected more than Singletary, but I'm not going to do it. And Debo's probably going to get more carries too now that they're back at home and with Elijah Mitchell being out. It's such a weird situation. Give it a week with Jeff Wilson. He might be a guy you start next week. Right now, though, It's too risky.
Yeah, projections are so weird in that way. Because, like, logically, there's no way I'm starting Josh Wilson.
I am not starting him either, dude.
Jeff Wilson over Devin Singletary. That was like, same with like Josh Palmer. I think is projected like 12.2 this week.
Like
and
Mike Williams, that's a wide receiver too. Didn't do good last week.
Like
so.
what do they think Josh Palmer's going to do that
Yeah.
Mike Williams couldn't do last week? I found that really interesting.
Yeah. All right, so are we ready to hop into our final thing of today?
Yeah.
Top 10 centers in the NBA using ESPN rosters. Yes, Rudy Gobert and Karl-Anthony Towns are both centers. Sorry. Evan Mobley is also a center, but he didn't make my list. But just in case you're wondering, like, where's Evan Mobley on the power forwards? He's a center, which also dumb, but
Not our fault. We're not ESPN.
exactly. We're not ESPN. We don't want to be ESPN.
We turned down the contract weeks ago.
Exactly. This, I think, might have been the hardest list. This one or one of the two guard spots for sure were the hardest ones. I find every part of this list hard. I even think 1 and 2 is really difficult. I really had to sit and think about it for a while. There's so many guys that I wrote down. I'm going to count real quick. Want to just talk about something?
Yeah. I think it's unreal that the problem with big men for me in ranking them is I do feel it is so situational based off who you're playing with, who your guard play is. Clint Capella is like the perfect example of that. If he was playing on the Rockets, again, like the current Rockets team right now, he would suck. He would be a bottom 10 center in the league. I've got him on my list, and that's because he plays alongside Trae Young. So it's so hard for me to judge how good a big man really is in a non-big man oriented league. It's so much on defense and whether or not you can catch a lob and stretch the floor a little.
And it does depend on like what your team's system is, because the centers are run. A lot of teams' defenses are run through the centers, and some offenses are run through the centers as far as what your center can do. If you have a guy that can stretch, that's how you build your offense. If you have Rudy Gobert, you build a different offense. So, I have 18 players I wrote down. Like,
holy shit.
Before I just wrote everyone down that I thought like had a shot at making the list. Legit, like just some guys that aren't on the list that I just think deserve props. Jonas Valanciunas didn't make my list. Miles Turner didn't make my list. Another really good player. I really wanted to put Wendell Carter Jr. on my list. I really think he's pretty underrated. Didn't make it. Christian Wood, I think, is going to have a really good year this year. Didn't make it. Kristaps Porzingis didn't make it. There's other guys, but I didn't think I needed to name them.
That is crazy that Valanciunas didn't make your list.
He did not.
Valanciunas is a baller.
I know, he is a baller.
He had a great year.
I like Valanciunas. He was the first guy I said.
Respect.
He did have a really good
Was
year.
he your first guy off?
Yeah, he's my first guy off.
Yeah. Okay. I thought it was your like 18 out of 18.
Oh, right. Yeah. No. Definitely not. Yeah, like he's number 11 if we were doing that. Yeah, are we ready to hop in? Like we said, we don't have to go into depth of every guy here.
They're all centers.
Exactly. We'll just go. We can talk a little bit, but I'll let you go first.
My number 10 is the guy who's the example. Number 10 is Clint Capella.
Okay, wait. I just wanted to quickly. What did you just say?
I know.
Number 10 is number 10 is.
Well, all I could think about was the fact that I didn't say number 10 is Clint Capella. So like the rest of my brain got foggy. Dude, but I meant to say the guy I made an example out of.
It's just so funny because like if you go back and listen to old podcasts, like these old lists that we did like last year, like every single time you're like,
this is a guy.
Number 9 is a guy who like and talk for 10 seconds and then say his name. It's literally
just
every single
so one. Wrong. It's just not the way you should do it.
Right. Why is it a surprise?
All Clint Capella does is catch lobs, play great help side defense, and rotate slowly. He's really good at what he's asked to do. He's been on the trade market for a long time. He's not better than any of the guys on the list for sure.
Yeah. My number 10 is Robert Williams III. I think Robert Williams had a pretty good, what is this, his fourth year now? Third or fourth year. First year being like fully healthy. He did get hurt eventually, or else he probably would have won Defensive Player of the Year, but his teammate ended up winning it. But was a major piece of a great team defense this season. Obviously, Al Horford being along his side really helped them out. It was a great addition to help out Robert Williams. And he's another guy that's going to continue to get higher. One of the best rim protectors in the league. And not even rim protectors, just one of the best defensive anchors in the league. And he's already so young. Just got to stay out of foul trouble. He also play makes pretty well too, I think. But yeah, he's number 10.
I love the way he moves. He's so agile on the
Yeah.
floor at 6'10", 6'11",
Yeah.
whatever he is. I love watching him play. He was the first guy that missed for me.
Okay.
Number 9, I have Nikola Vucevic. This guy just is so good at scoring, but he is a cone on defense. He's garbage. The Chicago Bulls team, garbage on defense.
Yeah.
The Chicago Bulls team underperformed when it got late in the year. Anytime they played a good team, they pretty much lost. But Vooch has been so good for so long, scoring the ball, playmaking. He's one of the best at all those things at the big man position. Got to give my nod to Vooch.
My number 9 is Clint Capella of the Atlanta Hawks. Like you said, probably a top 5 lob threat in the NBA as far as just centers go. When you have Trae Young along your side, it's great. Clint Capella actually might be the best pick and roll center in the entire NBA. But like you said, he really, if he's in a different situation, I don't know what it looks like. He's been in trade talks. Who knows? I still think Capella's a good center. Obviously, he's in my top 10 list, and I said I have 18 guys that I think deserve to make this list. So Capella was a tough one to rank. When I first did this, I had him at 10. I had him as high as 7, and I fell to 9 with him. So he's my number 9.
My number 8 is Jonas Valanciunas, the guy that missed your list. I think he had such a good, and it's really based off 1 year for the most part. He's been really good his whole NBA career, but this year he definitely took a jump in his production, how quality he was as a player. I don't know what else to say about him other than he just does everything right.
Very good offensive center.
Yeah, he's just
100%.
evolving.
I'm excited to see how he plays with Zion, because
me
if they
too.
want to run small or what, I don't know what's going to happen with Jonas.
And his
They
beard
extended
is
him,
awesome.
though, so yeah, his beard is awesome.
So cool.
Yeah. My number 8 is Nikola Vucevic. Vucevic, another guy that I really shuffled on this list. I had him at 10 initially, moved him up to 8. I didn't want to punish him that much for the year he had last year, like dropping him all the way down to 10. But obviously 8 isn't much different. He's still one of the better offensive bigs in the league, but he did not shoot the ball well from 3 last year. That was kind of one of his good traits that he had. Didn't shoot the ball well at all, actually. I think he only shot like 43% from the field as a center. And like you said, really got exposed on defense last year just because this entire Chicago Bulls team was like very dependent on the guards to hold it down on the defensive side of the ball. Lonzo Ball, Alex Caruso get hurt, it's over, especially when you don't have a defensive-minded center. Vucevic is still a top 10 center in the NBA. I don't know for how much longer, though. It sucks to say because I like Vooch, but he's number 8.
He's definitely sliding. It's more role-based for him going forward.
Yeah.
If his role is to be the second leading scorer on the team, he'll stay in this top 10 list.
And you look at the trade that was made by the Bulls to acquire him. Not saying, like, in the moment I thought it was a good trade, but, like, Wendell Carter, that's why I wanted to put him on this list because I really see the debate that Wendell Carter is better than Nikola Vucevic.
That's just a different aspect of the game that he's better at.
And I think this season he will overtake Vucevic. Franz Wagner, the pick that was traded, ended up being Franz Wagner, who is going to be a stud. He's absolutely balling in FIBA right now.
Yeah, what an L.
Major L, yeah. And but obviously the pick, you don't know what the pick's going to be at the time. But yeah, just a very W of a trade for the Orlando Magic.
Yeah, they got like the best German player ever, other than his brother. No, I'm not forgetting anybody, by the way.
Are you talking about
No. No.
What's his name?
Oh my
bro?
God. Hans
Wagner.
Hans Wagner.
All right, number 7.
Number 7, this guy. Holy shit, dude.
This guy.
This guy. Number 7 is Jarrett Allen. I fought with myself for so long where to put my guy Jarrett at. He is so elite at this game. I don't know where to rank him. It's that center thing. I didn't play center. I did. I really
You didn't play small forward either.
I just don't really know how to really rank these centers who just do what they're
so
told.
Role-based. It's the
role-based.
most role-based position in the NBA, 100%.
Like, he is such a good defender, but so is Rudy Gobert.
Because I get what you're
so
saying,
is Bam Adebayo,
yeah.
and so is DeAndre Ayton.
Do you rank it off of how well they play their role or how good they are
At basketball,
at
yeah.
basketball, at center? It really is tough because Rudy Gobert, if we're going off plays to roll best, I mean, he might be number one on
Yeah,
the list. You know,
yeah.
like obviously now he's on a different team, but like in Utah, he played his role better than he could have. You know.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the issue, especially with Allen. Like, I don't know what it would look like if he was expected to score the ball on every possession. Vooch, I know what that looks like. I just know he can't play defense.
Yeah.
So measuring how good they play their role versus how skilled they actually are is so hard.
It's tough.
Jared Allen at 7.
My number 7 is DeAndre Ayton of the Phoenix Suns. A lot of drama with DeAndre Ayton this offseason. Didn't really have like a down year by any means. Like obviously the Suns got shit on, but I think a lot of people forget that this team won like 64 games last year. Like best team in the NBA, best record in the NBA by a long shot. And it was led by DeAndre Ayton. Also 2 years ago in the NBA Finals, DeAndre Ayton had a phenomenal finals performance. I think just the narrative of first overall pick is why he gets a little bit of hate. He definitely did not live up to that number 1 overall pick hype, just because I don't think he'll ever be an all-star at this point. I think we know what he is, which is a great player, a top 7 center in the NBA. I just feel like you look at DeAndre Ayton and you think he's so much more capable of what he actually does. You know, like he is such a beast and he kind of settles offensively. He's still a very good defensive anchor for the Suns, 100%. But offensively, I just feel like he can do a little bit more than he truly does. Even on the rebounds, too. I feel like he should be a 12, 13 rebound a game type guy. But I got him at number 7. I still think he's a very, very good player. And I think it's a good thing that he is back on the Suns, as much as I, like to make fun of them and everything. It's good for them. It's good for him. It's a good situation. He's number 7.
When I watch him, it always feels like he lacks confidence on offense. It just feels like he's just like a little scared to really go for it.
He goes for like the floater shot in the paint a lot. It's like it goes in, but like be a bully, you know? Like
dunk that thing.
You were the biggest dude on the floor.
My number 6 is DeAndre, and he was the guy I really battled with Jared Allen because I think they're just so much on the same tier. They're the same style.
Right.
They look alike other than an afro. Like build-wise, they're very similar. Long wingspans, big guys, block a lot of shots. I don't know. It's just so tough between those two.
Yeah. I got Jared Allen at number 6. It is weird, interesting to see how is Jared Allen without Evan Mobley next to him, because he broke out this year. But offensively took that leap, and that's much thanks to Darius Garland also taking that leap. Another guy that's one of the best lob threats in the NBA. He's the one. He might be the best dunk blocker in the NBA. Like just blocking dunks.
I think he is.
I think he is number 1. Not afraid to try and block a dunk. He'll also poster you. Had a really phenomenal year. I think that's why I'm giving him the edge over Ayton, because he took a much bigger leap than Ayton has in his career. Where Ayton he's been better every year of his career, better than Jared Allen up until this past year. That's why I'm giving the nod to Jared Allen.
Yeah, Jared Allen looks like somebody you created in 2K. Like he looks like a fake guy.
Yeah, facts.
Especially when he dunks the ball over
And
you.
he dresses like a 2K My Park
Yes,
guy too,
dude.
like with the
Yes.
plaid shirts. Flannels.
I love it when he dunks it and his arm is straight up in the air. It looks so funny to me. And he just slams that
so
thing.
high.
My number 5 is Bam Adebayo. Another one of the best defensive players in the whole NBA. He's mobile. He switches well. He blocks shots. He looked bad in the playoffs. He did. He didn't step up the way he needed to. He needed to just do more. That's all Miami Heat fans were asking. Do more. We don't know what it is. Just try and do something. He felt like such an afterthought in the playoffs. But I'm not going to knock him too far for that. He's still one of the best defenders in the league. He's still pretty young. But he's now getting to that age where now if he starts not performing, it's going to start taking knocks on him in the playoffs.
My number 5 is 3-time Defensive Player of the Year, Rudy Gobert. He's always like the toughest guy to rank on these lists. I put him here at number 5 because I think I had him here last year as well. I think this is where the skill set comes into play a little bit more for me. I think the 4 guys above him obviously have a much higher skill set. However, like I said, Rudy Gobert plays his role better than anyone else in the NBA. Excited to see him and Cat together. Like I don't really have anything to say about why I have him at 5. But I just am really excited to see how that concept worked, because I as more and more I've been thinking about it, I think it really is going to work. I just think they gave up a lot to do it.
Yeah, me too.
But I still think they are going to be a really good team, and they're going to be a top 10 defense, because of Rudy Gobert. So he's number 5.
My number 4 is Rudy Gobert, and I think I feel a little differently than you about the Minnesota situations, just because I feel like you're still lacking the perimeter defense that Utah lacked. I I mean, Joe Ingles and Cat, I don't know how much of a difference there is defensively on the perimeter.
Yeah.
Which Cat then has to slide out and do. But I do still think Gobert is so good. Did you see that clip of him playing in the Euro Cup, FIBA, whatever?
Like him
Dennis
getting dunked
Schroeder.
on by Nurkic. Oh yeah, Schroeder cooking him. Yeah.
No, it was when Gobert was on offense and Schroeder was defending him on the block. And
I didn't.
He
must have
passed
seen
out.
That. Oh really?
Gobert passed
No, I
out
didn't
of the
see
shot.
that.
And Schroeder guarded him.
By the way, Schroeder's been balling.
Yeah,
and
he
still
has.
isn't on an NBA team.
Our team's not watching?
I'm not even that. Like, do we not know? Like, Dennis Schroeder's a good basketball player.
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand why he's not on a team. Like, plenty of teams could, like the Mavericks,
You think he's
Sign
number one
him.
player not in the NBA in the world?
like not on a team right now.
Yeah.
I would say so. Yeah.
I think so too.
Like Montrezl Harrell's also in that conversation, but
Yep.
I think Schroeder's probably number one.
Yeah, I think so
now
too.
that Sexton is on a team, yes. My number 4 is Bam Adebayo. Don't have much to say. I think Bam Adebayo is one of the best rim protectors in the NBA. Not rim protectors, best all-around defensive players in the NBA. 'Cause he can go out to perimeter. He can play inside. He can, play make on offense and everything. He's number 4.
My number 3 is Karl Anthony Towns. What a monster. What a cool idea this front court is. Just like you. I am excited. I'm just not as sure it's going to work. But I'm really excited. Cat, the best 3-point shooting big man. The best 3-point shooting center of all time. Numbers-wise, he's like easily. But like there's still the argument best shooting big man. It's probably still Dirk.
Right.
But
Cat will overtake.
Cat,
It will
yeah,
happen.
it just has to. Really excited to see what Cat does.
Yeah, Cat's my number 3. Probably the second best scoring big man in the NBA, I will say. Yeah, I think he's going to benefit a lot from having Rudy Gobert. I think it's going to take a lot of pressure off of him on the defensive end. I don't really hate him on the perimeter because I didn't really like him inside. So, like, I think he does have that quickness to him where he can at least funnel guys to Rudy Gobert. I think he'll do just fine there. And obviously, I think it opened, like, imagine the pick and roll of Cat, Rudy Gobert. I think Cat would be great with that.
Me too.
So he's number 3.
Yeah. My number 2 is Joel Embiid. We have never seen a big man be as big as he is and have a bag like he does.
Yeah.
Never in NBA history. He's the first player ever. You can't compare him to anybody. He is his own player. In the future, we will compare guys to, oh, man, he's a lot like Joel Embiid.
Yeah.
That's a big man with
That's
a
very
bag.
true.
Joel Embiid, he is not like anybody. He got the Olajuwon at first because he was nasty in college with his footwork. This dude is hitting step back threes. That is not Olajuwon anymore. Like he is a different tier of big man.
Not saying he's better than
No,
Olajuwon,
but like it's just not a fair comparison to Olajuwon anymore.
Exactly.
Joel Embiid is so talented, so skilled. He needs the MVPs to be number 1.
Right. Yeah, I got Joel at number 2. I really thought about this one. Like I actually, because last season I kind of started to flip to the Joel is better than Jokic team. I don't think you can go wrong. If you think Joel is better, you are probably right. Like I don't disagree at all. I put Jokic 1, like you said, the MVPs. Now if Joel Embiid is healthy, like Nikola Jokic is, does he win those MVPs? That's up for debate. That definitely changes things. But Joel Embiid, I almost put him over him because of the defense, I guess. Like, not that Jokic is a bad defender, but, like, the rim protection that Joel Embiid provides really makes him an all-around really good player, especially with losing Ben Simmons this past year. I thought that was going to hurt him defensively. Didn't. He was still an all-defensive team, second team this year. So fun to watch. Joel, kind of fun to watch. He does, like, flop a lot and get to the free throw line, but like you said, when he's hitting step back threes, when he's hitting post fades, when he's dunking on you, dude's fun.
Absolutely. And the number one center is Nikola Jokic. The Joker has been incredible these past 2 years. The advanced stats love him, is what I've heard. I don't look at advanced stats.
Is what I've heard.
But Jokic is just so good. He's dominating in this Euro Cup thing. He looks slimmer than ever. Jamal Murray is back. Michael Porter Jr. is at full health, hopefully. Oh, man, this Nuggets team is going to make some noise. Make some noise.
Nikola Jokic, number 1. And I kind of have like a hot take about Nikola. Not really hot take, but like I think Nikola Jokic has the best shot at three-peating MVP than like any guy has had since Larry Bird. Like that has gone 1-2,
Yeah, the thing about Jokic that I agree with that take is because of he hasn't won enough games winning his first 2 years.
Right.
So if
Yeah, and
if
I
he
think
puts
that-
up the exact
yeah.
same stats and then gets the 1 seed, how do you look at that guy and go,
That's exactly
he's
what
not
I'm
the
saying.
MVP?
Like he's not going to put up less stats. Like
Yeah.
he's going to put up the same numbers. And if the Nuggets win 60 games, like how can you not give him the award after you've given it to him the last 2 years? So I think he has the best shot at three-peating that we've seen in a long time.
It'd be pretty crazy.
It would.
To be like,
That doesn't
yeah.
happen.
Yeah, Larry Bird and Jokic are the only recent 3-time
Yeah.
MVPs. Not LeBron, not Kobe, not Jordan.
Not Giannis, not Steph Curry.
Like none of those guys.
yeah,
It was
not
Nikola
Shaq.
Jokic,
It's-
this
yeah.
big European guy.
Exactly. Second round pick, by the
Yeah.
way. All right, that's it, everybody. Go check us out on everything. And we got to go play 2K. Bye.
Peace.